All right. Yeah, live. Go.
Good evening, folks. I assume we're alive, yes?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
just
think
making
so.
sure. Welcome. This is the Chobo Star. This can be Group D for the round of 16. I am TV Ham. With me is Stark. Well, at the moment, this could be an extremely short group. Um, we're hoping one more player actually logs on. We do know that one player has already forfeited his matches. House Feather is unavailable. He has a real life obligation that came up, so he wasn't able to reschedule that. So the CSL lagged behind in his priorities, which does make sense. I mean, it is a game after all, so no harm there. Just he does forfeit his matches already, with which leaves Mr. Lando, Jacobus, and Nefarious left over to play. But Jacobus is not here yet, so hopefully, since that is actually supposed to be our first match, we're hopefully gonna see him show up soon. As it stands, he has, I think, by the rules, since it is the
10 minutes.
first match, he has until 8:15 to show up,
Oh,
actually.
okay. Well,
But for the time being, this could be just a single best of three to decide who gets out in first place and who gets out in second place. But for the moment, we don't actually have a game to bring you just yet, so that's kind of lame. But I guess we can go back to a break until it gets figured out and try to get as much updating as possible through the chat. And yeah, I guess we'll be back as soon as we possibly can with hopefully some StarCraft.
yep. Maybe we'll see you guys in a bit.
I find it
Alright, we are back from Ether.
Yeah, indeed. We actually have a player. Well, we have two players. In fact, we have three players. Let me tell you how happy I am about that.
Woo!
I was about to be really, really upset if I had two players forfeit in the same group, but it's not gonna be the case. Jacobus did show up. I imagine he was having a rough time getting out of work. I know he was talking about having some crazy projects going on wherever he works.
Yeah,
And it taking up a bunch of time, and his boss was asking him to work on his birthday weekend extra hours. So
and he's
that's no
married,
fun.
and he has
Yeah, and he's
kids.
married. Yeah,
So,
I
yeah,
think his birthday was yesterday even, and he
yeah.
had to work today. So I'm sure he's having a grand night. But he is back. He is here. We are loading into our first map. It's going to be Overgrowth. He is playing random as well. Nefarious is playing Zerg. So this is interesting. I haven't seen a random player in the CSL for a while. I mean, I don't think I've been able to cast any of the guys who've been playing random. So I think it'd be fun to see how this actually goes tonight. We are into our first game. I guess I say that when the loading bars are done, but I'm waiting on you. We are in our first game and spawning in the bottom left. Our player in pink from All Inspiration, playing random, spawning as Zerg. It is Jacobus.
You gonna? Oh, sorry. Yeah, I'm falling asleep. StarCraft. All right, here we go. Dog. We have the yellow Zerg to the top right of Overgrowth. It is Team Composites Nefarious. A ZVZ. No 9 pool.
Nope, no 9 pools just yet. Kind of sad. I think it's a lot of fun spawning in a ZVZ as a random player because you have quite a bit of an advantage for a long time. And even I love the Jacobus, this first Overlord. The way he sends the pathing on this, he doesn't send it where he's going to run into the other Overlord. So Nefarious is going to be blind for an even longer period of time in this game. He's not going to know exactly what he's facing. He's not going to know that he's facing a Zerg player. So like you think as a Zerg playing random, you sense Overlord across, you expect to run into an Overlord. You expect to see that Overlord, especially this drone coming across now. He's going to hit this watchtower, and I think the Overlord might be out of vision range. And if he does, he's not even going to see it. So he doesn't see an Overlord, he's going to assume at the moment that he's not playing against another Zerg. So he may be making some decisions based off of that. But it doesn't look like it's going to harm him at all in this game, at least. It looks like both players are looking to go for a hatchery first. Jacobus is already down, and Nefarious is just about to take his own.
Yeah, and wow, Jacobus actually takes the gas like straight on after there. Crazy fast gas we got. Whew.
If you say so, I will have to believe you on that. No pool just yet. I mean, it's going to afford Jacobus a few extra decisions to make. Drone being a little bit annoying here for Nefarious. Just trying to pick away a little bit of health, but gas is finished, so he will be taking that. Whether or not he decides to stay in that gas a little bit longer after speed or not will be the decision for him to make eventually. And also Nefarious seeing that, I mean, he's thrown down his own gas and pool. The pool came down just a little bit earlier, so he did go pool before his gas after his hatchery. So his speed will be a little bit later if it is going to be for speed. Jacobus could even go for some just quick, really super quick roaches, even despite going for this early hatchery. But expect to see just speed from both of these players, and maybe Jacobus wants to have a little bit better map presence early on in this game with that quicker speed being finished. As soon as the pool is finished, he'll be able to go into that.
Yeah, I mean, look how much faster his zerging speed is going to be. He's going to have at least, what is that, like 20, 30 seconds of speedlings before Nefarious has his speed out. But actually, Jacobus is... Yeah, forgot speed there. Come on, alright. He's just got home. Woof, I agree. And we will be having Jacobus throwing down the Baning nest soon, I would imagine. I believe that's what we saw him do in a recent ZVZ and CCL, was the heavy Ling Baning against Koali, and they traded pretty evenly. And if he kept up with Koali's Ling Baning being a Terran player, that's some impressive control right there.
Yeah, ZVZ Ling Bling control is always the beginning of the game, is how you're able to do that. And we do see that the Bailey Nest has come down for Jacobus now. And then putting that in the back where he has put it definitely signals that he's going to be aggressive with this. I mean, he's already got 6 Lings on the way. Those 6 Lings will probably get across the map by the time SP finishes, and then beyond that, it's going to be, what is he going to be using his larva on? Right now, he only has 4. He's got 2 injects to be popping here in about 6 seconds, so he's probably going to be making a lot more Lings. Still nothing but Lings in production here. Both players do have abandonness on the way. Kind of wish Jacobus would have hidden these Lings a little bit longer. Now I think Nefarious seeing that many Lings should signal to him that something is coming his way. With
Yeah.
his own bandit on the way on the field already, he can probably, if he wanted to, wall off a little bit better, maybe throw down a spine crawler. But a lot of lings in production for both players here.
So what's the units tab right now? So actually, Nefarious has got 5 extra drones on Jacobus, which means Jacobus has the 10 extra lings on Nefarious. So Nefarious is going to need some really nice bailing hits, but Jacobus is already morphing 7 bailings in, and Nefarious' speed isn't even finished yet. I mean, these bailings aren't going to be cancelled whatsoever.
Speed just finished up at a pretty good time here for Nefarious. He's going to be able to actually micro against this, but first 2 Banes are just now being morphed, and they're being morphed right out front even, so it makes it a little bit awkward. I mean, these Banelings aren't getting the best of connections, but they could go for some drones right now. Kind of some indecision there from Jacobus, but getting some almost decent connections, but really the Banelings aren't really doing anything. He's killed a lot of lings, yeah, but when both players still have nothing but lings, kind of the issue right now for Nefarious is this ling follow-up that's already across the map right now. There's a good handful of lings over here. He's got 8 on this side of the map. We got to have 22 about to pop out here for Nefarious, and 5 more Banes being morphed on the high ground here for Nefarious as well. Right now, this is still either player's game, 2 lose, 2 win. A lot of Banes being morphed out front here, but Jacobus, some of those may not actually finish without much ling support here. He's going to have to walk away for the time being, even waste 1 ling. Two Banelings actually do get wasted there by Jacobus. So a bit of a rough start here for Jacobus, and he is already down 6 workers at this point of the game. Nefarious, he did lose a queen, so he did lose a little bit of production for a little bit of time. But Nefarious is controlling very well with his ling bling here. Doing pretty well so far. And another Bane, he's just so patient with his Banelings. He does lose one pretty unnecessarily there. He's going to lose maybe another one, not too much at all. But still, both players are just holding on right now.
Yeah, Jacobus, I think, is microing a little bit better here. Oh, yeah, as I say that, the good bailing hit goes off there for Jacobus, but he's going to get himself locked in by this bailing nest once again, and everything kind of just dies again. But he will be able to pick off this queen once again, and actually pretty significant in the lava count. So we will be seeing that Jacobus is still having probably the larger amount of lings in production over the next few minutes, but he's going to have to be able to take some decent trades to make use of that. And Nefarious is comfortable enough to say, well, I'm just going to make a layer. You muted yourself.
Muted myself there. Another nice connection there for Nefarious. Both players trading 2 Banes for 2 Banes. A few more lings go down for Nefarious. Once again, it's just this kind of production, this constant lings moving across the map. But now with this pseudo wall off here for Nefarious, if he's able to hold this current swell of lings, he should be able to hold this. But the spine crawler is under fire. It goes down. 3 more Banes being morphed in for Jacobus. And now Jacobus is on top of the morphing Banelings, which is never a good thing for the Zerg player. All of these 3 Banes here from Jacobus are probably going to maybe win the game if they do spawn decently. He could actually even just go into the Mavis and go for drones if he wanted to, but he actually is using those on lings. Unit counts right now, 29 lings to 3. That extra queen, the queens that Jacobus killed definitely put him in a really nice spot in this game. Not much left over in the army supply advantage, and this layer is definitely going to be a waste for Jacobus. He's going to have to tap out. GG, Jacobus, ZVZ, man. That's how it goes. That's how it goes here in the early game of ZVZ. No surprise.
I don't know. I mean, Nefarious with the drone scout saw that it was a hatch gas pool opener, which just screams, at the very least, massive speedling flood. Because you don't need gas that fast if you're gonna... Well, yeah, if you're gonna play defensive, you don't need gas that fast. So, I don't know. Nefarious, he probably could have maybe cleaned up a little bit more, maybe not made those 5 drones. I mean, yeah, it was only a 5 drone difference, but only 10 Zerglings extra lost in the game, kind of.
Yeah, he kind of underprepared for that. He thought he was going to be in a better situation than he was, and it didn't work out that way for him. So he did, and Jacobus did just kind of just run over him. I mean, sniping those queens off was extremely important. Sniping the queens off for Jacobus was a really, really big move for him. Just killing off that production capability of his opponent is so important in a ZVZ. So we did see that happen, but we are going to be getting into game 2. It's going to be on Dead Wing. Let's see. What's your guess for what race Jacobus is going to spawn as here?
Not Terran. He's going to have bad luck.
He's not going to have bad luck. He's going to get Protoss. Indeed.
I think he's probably more comfortable with Protoss than Zerg, I think. I don't know.
I really don't know. I'd have to ask him to figure that out. I know he's been switching back to just Terran alone because random is too hard, but he is playing random for this. But it's not going to be the case. We're going to get another ZVZ here because we do have spawning in the bottom left in pink from All Inspiration. Once again, our reserve player. It is Jacobus.
And to the upper left of Deadwing, it is the yellow Zerg for Team Composite, Nefarious.
A rather large map, Deadwing, obviously. This was technically Nefarious' map pick before the game started. The way the vetoes went, it was down to this or Expedition loss, and he chose to play on Deadwing. So he has to feel at least a little bit comfortable on that, especially against, I guess, a random player, not wanting to leave it up to too much chance of getting something like PBZ maybe on Expedition loss. Can be kind of frightening with those back rocks that are a bit the same, right? He can abuse those as a Zerg player pretty well. But it is going to be yet another ZVZ here on Deadwing. Neither player looking for an early pool just yet. Kind of been playing around doing like a 13-12 on this map just because it is a 4-player spawn. Both players will, they're going to find each other fast enough to deal with anything like that. Neither of them seem to be wanting to go for anything but an early hatch here. Curious if either player is going to mix it up too much given the map size compared to Overgrowth from last game.
Yeah, I think we're definitely going to see Nefarious play more defensive here. I mean, he's just comfortable throwing down the hatch first, evidently, anyway, but following up from this, he saw that Jacobus is effectively a Terran player, out-microed a Zerg player in ZVZ, so I think he has to respect that, and Jacobus is actually going for the identical build again with the gas straight after the hatchery, he having that ridiculously fast link speed for a hatch first opener, so same build coming out of Jacobus is going to be a lot of lings, a lot of banelings. Nefarious has got to do something different than the previous map, because the previous map's response didn't work.
Yeah, you see this a lot with random players when they're going up in matchups. They have one build they're extremely comfortable with. It's not like Jacobus is a specific high diamond Zerg player, and he's got the matchup mapped out completely. You playing more matchups than everybody else, you kind of pigeonhole yourself into a lot of times doing a single build per matchup because you just can't get the intricacies of each build that you do. You can't pull out cheese or can't pull out different macro builds because you don't know how to respond to certain things that come from your opponent. So Jacobus probably feels comfortable going for this hatch first in the gas versus whatever a Zerg player could possibly do. So he just sticks with that and then perhaps mixes it up a little bit later into the game. If he's going to pull out, once again, he pulls out a single drone from gas, goes in that speed, looking like he could be going for the exact same build to see if he can throw down a Baneliness here shortly once he gets that 50 gas up and go for the same exact push. Yep.
There we go. There's the Baneling Nest thrown down, and Nefarious, he had time to scout this. His scouting this game, I don't like to be critical, but it has been poor. He sent the drone scout out before seeing the Overlord's pass on the left side of the map, but then he sent the drone scout cross, didn't see anything, then sent it to the bottom, saw the hatchery, and then went home. He didn't go into the main with his Overlord, which he also could have done after seeing a hatch first and knowing there's no queen to be out, and didn't check the gas. So he is even more blind this game than the previous game.
Yeah, his speed has started, which is nice for him. I imagine he's going to throw out his own Baneliness here in just a second. But it's just a hard map to actually be able to wall off on. It's not like Overgrowth. There we go. Baneliness is going to come down. He's even delaying this Baneliness, trying to make that wall, waiting for this creep to actually spread out, which is kind of my point. You have to wait for creep to get out there without a tumor. You can't really wall it off too well. This is going to put his Baneliness extremely far behind. He's seeing all these links move across the map now. He's going to see speed kick in here in just a second. And that's going to be kind of scary, and I really hope Nefarious, for his sake, will actually wall off in some fashion, because otherwise he's going to get run over once again. Right now, Nefarious has nothing but links protection. He's got 26 of them, but without really good control. It's already Banelings almost finished here for Jacobus. There we go. The wall off is trying to be made by Nefarious. Not quite going to happen. Slow links rolling in, but slow links trying to micro against all these Banelings is going to get advantageous here for Jacobus here in a moment.
This is gonna be brutal. Oh my goodness, there's gonna be so much pain for Nefarious here. The Baneling connection, oh my god, everything died.
Everything died.
Everything died. That's something that happens in ZVZ when if you ever...
You've been dancing a little bit. He's got nothing but... Jacobus has nothing but links on the way. He knows he's got a really good situation right now. That Baneling Nest being delayed definitely hurt Nefarious. He knew it was coming. He saw it was coming. Just reacted a little bit late. Didn't have the Meadows to actually complete this wall off. The Banelings do connect on some more Lings down at the natural base. Both players actually dancing a little bit there. And Nefarious will tap out GG's. So
Wow.
Jacobus will move on into the winners match, which is actually going to be our next match. Mr. Lando, by benefit of House Feather not being able to play this group, has already advanced from match 2 into the winners match. So we'll be getting directly into that here as soon as we get the bat vetoes.